Welcome to Daily Steps from One Extraordinary Marriage, where we outline simple steps that you can take to have the ultimate marriage adventure. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. In today's show, we answer the question, how do I handle it if my spouse doesn't initiate on their days?
In the last few shows, we've been talking about, what is the intimacy lifestyle? How do I set up the intimacy lifestyle? What do I do if I don't know how to initiate? We've been talking about all of these different things wrapped up around this concept of having a plan for intimacy in your marriage.
Right.
And, as we've been talking about this, the one question came in, and we knew it would, is, well, if we set this all up and my spouse doesn't initiate, how do I handle that?
Right. So you guys have discussed it. You set up your days and how it's going to work for you. You've talked about your initiating, and now you're going through it. It's working, and yet there are times when you're finding that your spouse isn't initiating on their days, or they're not really into it like they said they were going to be into it. So how do we deal with that?
And this goes back to something that Tony said in the show that we did on what is the intimacy lifestyle, is that at the beginning and ultimately throughout this idea of having a plan for prioritizing your intimacy is the fact that emotional intimacy is the undercurrent of all of this. So when you find that your spouse isn't initiating on their days, there's a reason, right? There's a reason that this isn't working. And it's a matter of setting up time to actually have a conversation around this. And let me lay something out here for all of you. We don't talk about sex or the challenges that we're having in our sex life in our bedroom.
Nope.
And the reason that we don't, and the reason that we encourage all of you not to do so, is because your bedroom has a lot of sexual weight and energy to it. And so if the two of you are having a challenge, we don't want you to put that energy in your bedroom. Go for a walk, get out of the house, go to a park, go somewhere else.
Go for a drive. Just move. Don't sit eye to eye to each other, knee to knee, across the table from each other and try to hammer this out. Move. This is something you guys are doing together. And when you're moving and you're talking about it, new ideas come up. Maybe the frustrations that are going on for your spouse begin to come out, and you get to hear that and you get to understand where they're coming from.
And what I want to encourage each one of you, if this is you and you're struggling with, my spouse isn't initiating, what do I do? Is to start with asking questions instead of making accusations.
Ooh.
We're so quick.
Say that again.
Okay, I will. So start with asking questions instead of making accusations. We're so quick when our spouse has promised something to us or agreed to something to us that if it doesn't happen, we're like, well, you said you were going to do the intimacy lifestyle. You said you were going to initiate on your days. Well, why aren't you? Why aren't you holding up your end? And it becomes a very confrontational situation.
Can I just step in here real quick? Let me just say that in the 8 years we've been doing it, we've had this conversation many, many of times. Believe me, we have had to talk this over. I've had to say it to Elisa, like, hey, I'm completely at a loss. Like, why aren't you holding up your end of the bargain for the intimacy lifestyle and initiating? Because I'm at a loss. And she's had to say it to me as well. So if you're going through this and you're struggling and you're frustrated, you're not alone.
Right. So as we change it from being the accusation into the question, it becomes, what's working for you and what's not working? Is it our division of our days or our weeks?
Is there too many days in a week? Is it not enough? Maybe it feels like it's too long. Like if it's only one day a week, maybe it just feels like, you know what? I'm forgetting. Maybe it needs to be 2 days a week. Try that out.
The situation here is that if your spouse is not initiating, it's almost like you're being a detective. But the best detectives ask questions, right? They seek to understand. Tell me, when you said that we were going to do it twice a week, and when you said that we were going to do it we were going to take turns initiating every week, tell me what you thought that looked like. And again, listen, let them speak. And if they say, I don't know, because that's a very knee-jerk reaction, right? We all do it when we're feeling a little uncomfortable. We'll use the I don't know. Say, I tell you what, let's table this conversation for today. Do you want to talk about it tomorrow? Right? Let's just get a time on the calendar to talk about it, because I want to make sure that we as a team are implementing the best game plan for our team. And it's amazing when you go to your spouse in love and keep your tone of voice low, what you can discover and find out. And it may just be that the two of you have to restructure what your plan's going to look like. Give it 30 days. Say, hey, let's do this for a month, and let's check in at the beginning of the next month and say, how did that work? What did you like? What didn't you like? The plan that you start with, folks, doesn't have to be the plan that you live with for the next 50 years. Can I be real clear? Doesn't have to. Different seasons of life, you'll amend your intimacy lifestyle to fit where you are. But you've got to keep the conversation open. You've got to have regular conversations about your sexual intimacy, or else you're going to experience this disconnect. Maybe there's stuff going on that you don't even know about, and it's just weighing on them, and they can't even imagine being physically intimate.
And I want to just say too, if you both are in a spot where you just cannot talk about it and you need a third party to come in, check out Coaching with Elisa. You can check that out at oneextraordinarymarriage.com/coaching. She has worked with many women, husbands, wives, talking about this topic, setting up the intimacy lifestyle for them, allowing them to understand and have some help walking through what it means to initiate.
Because here's the thing. None of us went to school for that. None of us got the book that says, here's how you're going to do your sexual intimacy in marriage. We're all figuring it out as we go along. But let's be proactive about it. Let's be in this place where we can create a safe environment to have conversation instead of going on the offensive, which automatically, I'm going to tell you, is going to put your spouse on the defensive. We want to create a culture in marriage that says, I can be vulnerable, I can ask you these questions, and we can have a conversation.
For more information on this topic, check out oneextraordinarymarriage.com/231.